Palestine, from the river to the sea, is occupied territory. It was all illegally seized by force.
Yeah, I know. But,
so I never differentiate between what they call Israel and what they call the Palestinian occupied territories, because it's all occupied territory. Mr. Balfour, who promised the land on behalf of one people to a tiny number of representatives of another people, and presented them with the land of a third people without consulting any of the three people involved, Mr. Balfour was a notorious anti-Semite. He hated Jews. He wanted Jews to go and live in Palestine so that he wouldn't have to look upon their faces again in England.
Demolition of Palestinian homes in Jerusalem, the continued building of colonies for Israelis and Israelis only on Arab land. Obama goes along with it. There's the big handshake, and that will happen. And next time there'll be a little objection from Obama, and then it'll be the next presidential elections, then the next midterm elections. And I think that we all know, and Israel knows very well, that Israel has tremendous power, which it uses in Congress and the Senate in Washington. And this means that America cannot be a fair, honest broker. God did not give it to the Palestinians, I suppose. He gave it only to the Israelis. This is ridiculous. You know, you haven't answered the question, Dan. Whether you think they're two conflicting claims, why does Israel continue to build colonies for Jews and Jews only on land which belongs to Arabs? Back to the Gaza thing, you see, you've got to look at it as a human being. The ceasefire with Hamas was actually broken in November 2008 by the Israelis. Then the rockets came in much more than they were before on towns like Sderot. Then the Israelis had the big Gaza war. And it was about 1,300, most civilians, Palestinians dead, and 13 Israelis, two of whom actually were Arab Israelis. Now, at an exchange rate of death of 1 to 100, the real question is, do you really think Palestinians think they can do a deal with Israel now? I doubt it very much. I don't think there's many people I meet in the Middle East as a whole, and I include Israeli friends, who really believe that is going to happen. I think we're entering a very dark period, and a dark period not just for the Palestinians, but for the Israelis, for the Iranians, for the whole region. And I think that it is a fact, as we know, that Petraeus and other senior officials in the US administration have said that what Israel does directly does affect our actions in other Muslim countries, and it has a deleterious effect. When I go to Afghanistan, why do I see Philistine written on the wall? And
let's be absolutely clear about what happened. Firstly, this whole idea that Hamas broke the ceasefire is just not true. In fact, it was broken after, in October, Israel killed 15 Palestinian fighters. They shot dead a mentally disabled Palestinian. They killed another 13-year-old in an intrusion. And when there was an attempt to actually get a ceasefire, negotiations were ongoing, that is when they assassinated Ahmed Jabari, completely ending those ceasefire talks. Now, it's often said, and Barack Obama made this point, he said, what country on earth would tolerate rockets being fired at them? I ask you this, what people on earth would tolerate a siege which stops basic supplies getting in, an occupation, a 45-year-old occupation, a brutal occupation at that, illegal settlements all over the West Bank, which are in total violation of international law.
So 2 days ago, Israel launched a bombing campaign dubbed Operation Protective Edge against Gaza. That's still ongoing. I'm sick of my Palestinian friends losing their friends and family every time Israel goes on the offense against innocent people living in an open-air prison. So if demolishing homes, conducting mass arrests, and bombing civilians is, quote, responsible, I shudder to think how many people have to die in order to define irresponsibility.
You're not alone, I'll stand by you. Try not to frighten anyone. My heart is your stone.
Stand by you.
I'll stand by you.
Stand by you.
I'll stand by you.
Share.
I'll stand by you.
Stand by you.
I'll stand by you.